Right now, your mind feels tired, you keep thinking about everything, every possibility, every outcome, every fear, you replay conversations, you imagine worst-case scenarios, you wonder if things will work out, and even when nothing is wrong in the moment, your thoughts keep running, again and again, and slowly, overthinking steals your peace, it steals your sleep, it steals your ability to enjoy the present. Because your mind is always somewhere else, in the future, in fear, in uncertainty. But listen carefully, Jesus is saying, my child. Stop carrying tomorrow before it arrives. Not everything needs to be solved right now, not every answer needs to come immediately. Not every fear deserves your attention, because while you are overthinking, you are forgetting something important. What is meant for you is already making its way toward you. Jesus says, my child. You do not need to force what I have already planned. Right now, you are trying to control outcomes, trying to predict what will happen, trying to make sure nothing goes wrong, but some things are not yours to control. Some things must simply unfold, naturally, at the right time. Jesus is saying, my child. Peace comes when you stop trying to manage everything. Because overthinking creates confusion, but trust creates clarity. Overthinking creates fear, but faith creates calm, and right now, you need calm, you need stillness, you need to breathe without carrying the weight of every possibility. Jesus says, my child. If it is meant for you, it will not require endless fear. What belongs in your life will arrive with alignment, with peace, with clarity, not with constant anxiety, not with endless confusion, and even now, things are moving behind the scenes. Opportunities are aligning, answers are forming, paths are opening, even if you cannot see it yet. Jesus is saying, my child. Trust what I am doing in the unseen. You do not have to figure everything out tonight, you do not have to solve your entire future today, you only need to take the next step, and trust me with the rest, because what is meant for you will not miss you, will not forget you, will not pass you by. If you are ready to stop overthinking and trust what is coming, type Amen and choose peace today. Now, you may not even realize how much overthinking has affected you, because it became normal to worry constantly, normal to expect problems, normal to replay every situation in your mind, but slowly, it begins to drain you. Jesus is saying, my child. Your mind was not created to carry this much fear. One sign overthinking is blocking your peace is this: you cannot enjoy the present moment. Even during good moments, your mind searches for what could go wrong. Instead of feeling peace, you feel tension. Instead of feeling gratitude, you feel fear of losing it. Jesus says, my child. Fear steals the joy of today by focusing only on tomorrow. Another sign. You constantly seek reassurance, you need repeated confirmation, repeated answers, repeated proof, because your mind struggles to feel safe, and no matter how much reassurance you receive, the fear returns again. Jesus is saying, my child. Peace cannot come from controlling every outcome. Another sign, you create problems in your mind before they even happen. You imagine rejection, failure, loss, worst-case scenarios, and your emotions react as if those things are already real. Even when they are not, Jesus says, my child. Do not suffer twice, once in your imagination, and again in reality. And another sign, you struggle to make decisions, because every choice feels dangerous, every possibility feels overwhelming. You keep thinking, what if I choose wrong? What if this fails? What if things fall apart? And because of that, you stay stuck, unable to move forward peacefully. Jesus is saying, my child. Trust yourself more than your fear. Because overthinking keeps you trapped in circles, but trust moves you forward. At this stage, you must understand something important. Not every thought deserves your attention, not every fear is truth, not every worry is a warning. sometimes, it is simply fear trying to control you. Jesus says, my child. Quiet your mind, so you can hear my peace. If you are ready to release fear and protect your peace, type Amen and let your mind rest. Now, you recognize the pattern, you see how overthinking keeps stealing your peace, you see how fear keeps exhausting your mind, but the question is, how do you finally stop? How do you quiet your thoughts? How do you trust again? Jesus is saying, my child. Peace begins when you stop trying to carry everything alone. The first step is this: pause. Not every thought needs a reaction, not every fear needs to be solved immediately. Sometimes, you must simply stop feeding the thought, because the more attention you give fear, the louder it becomes. Jesus says, my child. You strengthen what you constantly focus on. The second step: return to the present moment. Right now, not tomorrow, not next month, not every possible future scenario, just now, because most of the pain in overthinking comes from living in imagined futures, but peace exists in the present. Jesus is saying, my child. I give you grace for today, not for every imagined tomorrow. The third step: release control. This is the hardest part, because overthinking is often an attempt to feel safe, to predict everything, to prevent pain, but some things, you were never meant to control. Some answers will come only with time, some paths will reveal themselves step by step. Jesus says, my child. Trust does not require full visibility. At this stage, you must learn to replace fear with faith. Every time your mind says, what if everything goes wrong? Answer with, what if everything works out? Every time fear says, you are not safe, remind yourself, I am guided. I am protected. I am not alone. Jesus is saying, my child. You do not need to carry the future by yourself. Because I am already there, already preparing, already guiding your path, and when you truly understand this, your mind begins to relax, your heart becomes lighter, your soul begins to rest, not because you suddenly know every answer, but because you trust the one who does. If you are ready to let go of fear and trust God more deeply, type Amen and choose peace over overthinking. Now, something inside you begins to change, not all at once, but little by little. Your mind becomes quieter, your heart feels lighter, you stop reacting to every fearful thought, you stop imagining problems before they happen, and for the first time in a long while, you begin to feel calm again. Jesus is saying, my child. This is what happens when you finally trust me more than your fear. Because fear once controlled your thoughts, fear once stole your sleep, fear once convinced you that everything would fall apart, but now, you are no longer living in constant panic, you are learning to breathe again, to rest again, to live again. Jesus says, my child. Peace is not the absence of uncertainty. It is trust in the middle of it. At this stage, you begin to notice something powerful. Life feels different when your mind is no longer fighting itself, you think more clearly, you make decisions with confidence, you enjoy small moments again, you stop searching for hidden problems everywhere, and because of that, your energy changes, your relationships improve, your heart becomes open again. Jesus is saying, my child. A peaceful mind changes your entire life. Because when fear leaves, clarity enters, wisdom enters, joy enters, and suddenly, things that once felt impossible, do not feel so heavy anymore, not because life became perfect, but because you became stronger, more grounded, more trusting. Jesus says, my child. Stop preparing for disaster, and start expecting my guidance. Because I am leading you, protecting you, working behind the scenes for you, even in moments you cannot understand. So from this moment forward, do not let fear control your future, do not let overthinking steal your present, do not let anxiety convince you that you are alone, because you are guided every step of the way, and what is meant for you is still coming, if you are ready to live with peace instead of fear. Type Amen and trust God with your future.